This video demonstrates how to create a very simple low poly sword in Blender. We can start, actually, why don't you start with Control A, Shift and A, and create your objects like that, instead of going to add and mesh and select the primitive you want. For the cube, let's start with the cube though. It's up to you how you're gonna continue. And then we can go to the transformations. So extend these a little bit. Set it to the middle. It's okay. You can scale it up or scale it down. Play with the rotation. We're gonna do it later, or just play with the tools here. So that's move, rotate, scale, and a tool that combines all of these. So let's start here with the object itself. So if I want to create a sword blade at first, I would suggest to start playing with the scaling. So press S here. You can make this smaller, as you can see by default, or play with the dimensions. Let's make it very thin. I'm going to create it like from above, so we can see it from the top view, like from the Z-axis. The Z-axis is the blue one, right? You can play with the object using the gizmos too. Or up to you, you can also play with the coordinates of this object, modifying its location here in the transform, or rotation, or scale. It's up to you. So let's go here. I'm going to go from above and make sure that you have, like, you're happy with the thickness of this blade. Go to the side then, and make sure that, again, I think this view is better. You can play with the Y, like how long it will be. That's, I think, acceptable for an object, right? For such as these. And then you can also play with the Z. If you go to the side, you can see Z. It creates how thick the object will be, right? This is too much, I think, too low. I think that's better, right? I'm not expert with swords, but I think like that's acceptable, right? So you can also go to edit mode now and use the tool I showed you last time. Like that's a loop cut. So if you loop cut, you can horizontally or vertically cut this object. I'm gonna do it like simply. We're gonna come back later. I'm gonna add more geometry here. Actually, I'm gonna do what? I'm gonna add geometry up here. I'm gonna use this part of the object in order to create the tip of the sword, right? So go back to select here, select the X-ray selection. So when you select this guy, you're selecting the whole top part of the object. Make sure to select a steady view. I'm gonna pick Z now, zoom in, and then you can press S. I'm pressing S, right? Scaling. Can you check the scaling here? Right, that's a scaling part. And I'm gonna try to create something like that. Doesn't have to be like perfect, don't worry. Something like that, right? Not good, like perfect, but it's okay for first the intro to Blender. So that's your blade. The second thing you can add, very simplistic again, Shift A. I'm gonna use another cube now. See how large it is. And I can play with, I'm going to create the sword protector, the arm protector. That's the name of this. Sorry, I made a mistake here. I imported an object in edit mode. If you do that, you're going to just combine these two objects and they start working like together as almost as a single object. So go to object mode, again, Shift A, go to mesh, create a cube in object mode. Move it somewhere like close to the end of the sword, of the blade, and play with the scaling, right? We need like, if you want to compare it, just move them like together, somewhere here, and make sure that the length of this object matches what you need to design. We're going to create a very simple handle. I know there are more complicated approaches. Now we have to make it smaller, right? So let's move it. If you want to move it over a specific axis, press, as an example, this green axis is typically the Y axis, right? So I'm pressing D and Y and move it over this axis only if you want to be accurate. So move it here. I think that's okay, but if you move around, it's not okay. It's like too big, too large, right? That's not a sword here, actually. I'm not sure what it is. So you have to fix it. So play with the Z axis again. And now it's a little bit better, right? So go to the side, Move it up. What's this axis? Again, that's Z. This blue axis is Z, so G and Z. And move it up here. Right, something like that. Check all the sides. I would say click on the gizmos here. Make sure that everything is okay, and the 3D view is great too. Right, this is pretty much orthographic view. This is our perspective. So yeah, that's pretty good, right? Like for the start, like I have like note here that's I think too thick. Which axis I'm gonna play with? It's Z, so I'm gonna like a little bit smaller, right? Yeah, I think that's the type of object we see in movies, right? So the next thing, you can also use I'm gonna create the handle here. You can use a box or just use, I'm gonna go a cube, yeah. I'm gonna use a cylinder now, another object, just to show you another object again. S, make it smaller, like to start handling it. X and Y, let's keep the same perspective. You can rotate it. This is rotation over the x-axis, like over this axis, rotate the object around this axis, so set it to 0. This is rotation over the y-axis. You can go here and rotate it. We don't want that rotation over the x-axis, so set it to 0. The one we need is the rotation over the z-axis. So I'm going to select that guy. And, oh, sorry, I haven't selected this object. And then just try to rotate it. Yeah, it doesn't work right now. It wants to just create like a files for me. So I'm gonna just create it like rotate it like that. So move it up and like make sure that's okay. Yep. Okay. So rotate and the object like to match the size of this object. Okay, and make it a bit smaller. So I'm gonna make it smaller. I'm gonna elongate this side. I think that's okay. And then I'm gonna create, actually, why don't you go like 0.2 and 0.2 and 0.2 and play with y-axis, maybe make it smaller, make this smaller again, something like that, right? I think it's too long. So yeah, I think we're good. And now you can go to over the z-axis and move it up. Press G and Y, the green axis. Very simplistic, right? Don't try to create something more complicated. Yeah, you can measure always the coordinates, like where you have placed this guy and this guy. It's okay. You can fix the location, like you can set it to 0, absolute 0. Right, y 1.5 as an example. Sorry, minus 1.5. I press like minus 1.5 because 1.5 is the other side. And then just leave this as it is, like it's okay. Like I said, it's okay. And now we have added the handle, right? If you want to make it a little bit more interesting, you can add what? UV sphere. That's right. So S. And just G, and I'm gonna start with the y-axis, and then I'm gonna move to over the x-axis. The red axis is always Z, right? Excuse me, it's always X and X, and I get up here. Very simple. I told you there are many other ways to do the same thing, but now we don't have the luxury. Like it's the first week, so we don't wanna. Or the first module, so we don't want to create something different. So Control-C, Control-V works fine in this case. Just keep the same distance. It's okay if it's not. And then we're going to add one in the bottom, at the bottom. But okay, I'm going to leave it like that, right? So then you can add modifiers, of course. So I'm going to select here the blade. You can add the modifier. You can experiment. In this guy, so you can add subdivision surface to increase the complexity of this object. That's not our purpose here. So you here, if you add this modifier with so low poly count, it's going to create that. Actually, in our case, as I showed you in the class, it's not bad, right? It creates a very refined output. The bottom part, it's not great, but if you go to edit mode and go to create a loop cut at here, and then another one here, I think that, or maybe if you want to improve it further here, if you have selected this object, right, the cube, that's the That's not the cube. It's anymore. It's the blade. So you're gonna go here, select this part of it, or if you go to edit mode, select, make sure you have selected the toggle X-ray, right? And then select this guy. You can delete it. Right. Like faces are great. Now you have kept only the part that you're interested in. Object mode, move it down. So I'm gonna go to Z and try to Z and what? Y. And place it here. Add as many modifiers as you want. You can like experiment in here. Just go to deform or generate. That's experimentation. We're gonna cover more modifiers in the future. But whatever, like we can add solidify, right? Can you see? Actually, I'm gonna add right click here, the Sage move to all of these guys, right? You need to do that. You can add the subdivision modifiers. That's like a very simplistic approach, right? And then we can add some coloring, add materials for the blade. I guess you know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna create something like gray color. Like you can play with it. Oh, you can also use RGB or HSV, different color systems. Oops. And then I'm gonna use HSV. It's okay. And try to create like a darker color, something like these here, dark blue, any color you want, right? I'm gonna create something like that. I'm gonna make it like colorful but a bit dark, as dark as I can. And then it says the metallic value, so I have to select these to see the output. I'm gonna make it a bit metallic as much as I can. And then roughness, I'm gonna make it not too bright, but yeah, it's metal, but yeah, if it's steel, it's different. So you can select these guys, these two guys, select let's start with one of them. So click new and pick any color you want. I'm gonna make it like, I don't know, funny and bright. I'm gonna increase the metallic part. I think it's metal, and then roughness, not too much. Okay, that's the, you can name it your material. If you, instead of naming it like as material 002, you can name it like, I don't know, a side, like, I don't know, side ball, something like that. I don't know how it's called. Like it's part of the handle of the protector. You can also like create a new material for each one of the objects, or I'm going to delete that guy. Select, click here and select the material you created, right? And then you can assign it to multiple objects. So click this guy here. I'm going to create a new one. No, I'm going to use the same one. We know how to do that, side ball. And then for the like handle, I'm going to create a new one, like very simple. I'm going to create, I don't know, a green one with, it's a little bit metallic, roughness, not so much. And that's it. That's your object now. The same process. Yeah, it doesn't look like a real sword, but it's okay. If you wanna, like, I'm gonna select the whole object. Make sure you have selected all the components right inside the viewport, and then join them. Control J, right? That's a single object. As you can see, the object has many materials inside. All these materials in here. Later, we're going to learn how to select a part of the object and then assign the materials separately. So you can assign the different materials to different parts of the object. And then the same, right? File and save your project, right? And then export. Export only this guy by selecting the object first. File, export, FPX. And then select object and export it. We have covered that, so you know how to do that. And this is how you create a very, very simple sword with the use of a few tools, simple modifiers. You can experiment, add more modifiers, and more subdivision surface, more solidifies, other modifiers. And then we apply some materials and export it. Pretty simple and like an easy object to create for your first introduction to Blender.